right, so now we're recording. All right. You guys can't believe how many times I've given this presentation in the last few weeks. So I'm just recording it for posterity's sake. So everybody, welcome. My name is Britt. I'm the CEO and founder of the Towne Post Network. This is a presentation about programmatic advertising. And so over the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to step you through a high level about how it works, what it is, how much it costs, where you can see it at, and how you can implement it into your small local business. This QR code I show on the screen right now, this is a form you can scan. It pulls up a form on your phone or your, well, hopefully your phone or tablet, and you can fill out that form out and get more information about how this programmatic can actually help your business. Just a little background about myself. I've been in publishing for 35 years. Sounds like a long time, and it is, but I started out magazine publishing. I got into the .com startups in the late 90s. So I have an internet.com background, and I also have a publishing background from magazines. From 2002, 2003 till about 2009, I sold both companies. I was actually a lead gen consultant. So a lot of things I'll talk about today is because I have a lead gen background, a marketing background, how to generate leads online. And I've been doing it since the early days when Google first launched, working with SEO and some other things we did, and also Google Ads and some other things that we did professionally. And now we're implementing these same things into the Towne Post Network now. Just a little bit about the Towne Post Network. For many of you that maybe don't know, we actually have 9 local magazines in Indiana and Kentucky. We're a franchise system. My wife and I started the business 18 years ago with the Geist magazine. We've expanded, obviously, around the state. Our most recent acquisition or franchise launch is, we just announced yesterday, was the Muncie magazine, which will be coming to Delaware County right here in Indiana. Most people know Towne Post Network as a print advertising. If you look on the left, we've done print advertising. That's what most people know us as. And many of you on this call have known us because you're buying advertising in our print publications. We also do a lot of digital through townpost.com. And we've been doing social media boost for the last 4 or 5 years for a lot of our clients. Some of the new services we're offering now, and you guys are really kind of the first people to hear about this. We've been doing some website design and development for the last 9 months. We've been doing search engine optimization. We've got a local SEO expert that works with us, and we also have him on retainer. And we've actually had some training internally to teach our folks how to do search engine optimization. So that's a new service we're offering as well. Local listing management. Many of you have websites, hopefully you do. And a lot of you don't know that there's about 89 local search directories out there that you need to be listed in. And you can be listed in them for free, but most of the people have the listings are not accurate, they have outdated phone numbers, or they don't match. And so they don't really help you with any kind of search engine backlinking. So we actually can manage that for you. It's a one-time fee of $400, and we'll actually fix that for you. We also do Google Ads setup and management. We've run into a lot of clients in the last year that have been doing Google Ads. They got the email about it. They set up the free account. They spent their $500 and they turned them off. So we actually can manage that for you. Again, we're very transparent about our pricing. We charge 10% commission to do that. So if you give me $1,000 to spend on Google, I keep 100 and spend 900. So we actually, a new service we've been providing now. We actually have about 8 clients right now that we're managing pay-per-click for. We also have a digital press release service. This is something we just started offering about 4 or 5 months ago. We kind of hit it out of the park with our first one. We did a press release and about a home for sale in Carmel, and actually the Wall Street Journal picked it up and got a free story in the mansion section of the Wall Street Journal that weekend. But press releases, digital press releases, are a great way to get backlinks to your website. We're averaging somewhere between 400 and 500 backlinks with a press release. And so if you understand Google search rankings and clout scores and authority scores and all that, the digital press release makes a lot of sense to get a lot of good backlinks to your website from reputable websites. And the last point here we're offering, which has been the newest of those 6, is programmatic display, streaming TV, and video advertising. And just to kind of set the table as to what programmatic is and kind of what world programmatic advertising lives in. Traditional advertising is something we're all familiar with, right? We watch television, we've been getting newspapers, the radio. Traditional advertising reaches a very broad audience, maybe a niche audience, but it's also oftentimes very tangible. It's something you can see or hear. With digital advertising, it's a little different. It allows you to be very targeted in your advertising. You can get immediate results. You can have dashboards and see click-through rates and how many people have actually seen your ad impressions in real time. And what really draws people to digital is it's easy to measure. You can see on your dashboards how your campaigns are doing and make adjustments on the fly, which is very different than traditional. I can't change a print ad once it's gone to press. You got to wait till the next month. But with digital, I can change it on the fly and within minutes or hours have your ad fixed. So digital advertising, how's programmatic work? Well, programmatic advertising works based upon the user's behaviors. These are people that are on the web. On average, people spend 6 hours and 55 minutes on the internet every day. So as you're traveling on the web, you're clicking on things, you're reading things, you're searching for things on Google, your history, the cookies of the sites you go to, the places you go, if you have location services turned on, all these things track you and create a unique footprint for you, or they call it a fingerprint ID. And that ID allows us as marketers to target people based upon their user behaviors, their search intent, and places that they've gone. The definition of programmatic is the ability to deliver the right message to the right person at the right time. And they do that through a real-time network. It's called an ad network. So this is a very high level slide I'm going to show you. So don't, if you know more about this than this slide, congratulations. I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. So programmatic advertising is on the right-hand side of the slide, and Google Display Ad Network is on the left. Now, there are also 20 other ad networks out there besides Google, and those 20 ad exchanges fall on the programmatic side, on the blue side on the right. Google is obviously the 800-pound gorilla when it comes to digital advertising, but their network only reaches about 75% of the internet. Now, it has its place, right? Search, you can do cost per clicks. You can reach people and do some retargeting through Google. If people go through and search for you, they can retarget people. But on the other side of the equation, programmatic includes all the networks, all the 20 major ad net exchanges, and it's based on a bidding platform. So basically, it's inventory on websites and in mobile apps that's unsold for the most part, and they basically offer it out to bid. And there's platforms out there that do the bidding for us. And we basically come in and can leverage the inventory and associate demographics and other selects that we want to target those ads to the right people at the right time at the right place. So again, Google ads can reach 75% of the web. Programmatic can reach 95% of internet traffic. Keep in mind, a lot of publishing sites have both. So it's not an either or proposition. Or a lot of people have Google ads on their website, but they'll also have programmatic on there as well. So where these things show up? Well, as you're surfing the web, you're on a mobile app, you're on Candy Crush. This is all what we call the display ad network. This is the most popular programmatic advertising that we've been selling. It's most popular because it has a lot of inventory. And we can also do a lot of targeting with this. We also can do video as well. We can also do streaming television. As most of you know, 80% of the United States has unplugged from cable. So that means they're using an internet delivery system to watch television. And a lot of those programs and networks like, Peacock and ad-supported networks like Tubi and some of those ad networks are serving up programmatic streaming ads. So we can actually profile and target those people as well. So let's talk about what you can do with programmatic and what kinds of things can you do if you have demographics and data and you can target people across the web. Well, these are just some examples. You can target them once they visited your website. It's called site retargeting. We'll talk about that in just a second. You can also target them based on keywords that they've searched. You can also target them on articles and content they're reading. So again, if they're reading a web page and there's words on that page that match keywords that you want to target, they would start seeing ads for you. You can also target them based on a place that they've been, a location that they've been. You also can target households based on demographics, interests, and buying behaviors. I'll give you some examples of these later in this presentation. You can also target them around events. Event targeting has become a really big thing because if you think about maybe a big conference that you guys are going to, and there's going to be 3,000 people there, all specific to your industry, and you want to target those people, we can draw a fence around that hotel or that conference room or wherever we want to draw the fence and start targeting people that walk inside of that fence. So let's talk about the tactics. There are 5 tactics that we can use to programmatically target people online. These are 5 tactics that can be all used, or we can use 3 or 4 or 5 of them. And there's no extra cost to do any or all of these tactics. So the first tactic we're going to talk about is geo-fencing. There's geo-targeting, keyword retargeting, site retargeting, and audience curation. Audience curation is actually the most fascinating of the 5. That's why I put that last. So let's talk about geo-targeting. Geo-targeting is the ability to put a radius or a zip code or a city around where you want your ads to show. Now, most of you have been doing Google ads, or you've been doing Facebook or Instagram ads. Any kind of digital ad, you always have to say specifically where you want your ad to show up. And so this is no different with programmatic. We're going to key in on zip codes, cities, whatever we need to put up a geo target around the people that we want to see the ads. That kind of keeps out the people that you don't want to see the ads. The next tactic is called geo-fencing. Now, geo-fencing is really interesting because with geo-fencing, I can actually, all the addresses in the USPS database are in our database. So all we need is the addresses of people that you'd like to geo-fence. And what happens is if somebody walks into that geo-fence or drives into that geo-fence with their mobile device, or their work there, or they're at a conference there, but once they get into that fence that we've set up, they are now going to get targeted to start seeing ads for you. And when they get targeted, they can see as many as 6 to 10 impressions per day per device. I'll say that again. When somebody is targeted, they can see up to 6 to 10 ads per day per device. Most people have 3 devices. You've got a cell phone, that's a given. You've got a laptop, a tablet, and streaming television device. Most people have at least 3. So if you can target them 6 to 10 times per day per device, that's 18 to 30 ad impressions per day if somebody has been targeted. Now with geofencing, what most people have been using it for is for geofencing places where your customers might visit. So for example, if I'm a handyman, I might geofence a Lowe's or a Menards around my house, thinking if somebody goes there, they might need some help doing some work around their house. But what's been most popular for our clients so far is geofencing their competitors. Now, competitors can be a little tricky. Depends on what kind of competition you have and what kind of foot traffic they have. But for example, we've got one client who does replacement windows. Them and about 10 other people in town do replacement windows. But what we did is we put a geofence around their competitors around town. And now if somebody goes to their showroom around somewhere else around town to see their windows, they start seeing ads now for another company up on the north side. So competitive geofencing has been really, really popular. And again, you might just do it around places of interest. If you're maybe you're a private school and there's a park nearby, maybe you whatever it might be, you can actually target other locations besides just businesses. You can target parking lots, you can target any place that you want. Another facet of geofencing is what we call called geo-addressable fencing. So if you guys have an address list, like a customer database, or you went to a trade show and they gave you the addresses of all the attendees. We can actually upload those addresses. It automatically puts a fence around all those addresses. And now when somebody walks into that fence, or they come home, or they go to their office, if it's an office address, they start getting targeted to see your ads. One of the nice things about doing location targeting, the geofencing, one of the nice things about it, we actually can set up a conversion zone. So not only can we target competitors or put fences around parks or places your customers might go, we can also put a fence around your location. And if they come to your location, it's what we call a conversion. So in this example, they geofenced someplace, they saw an ad, they came to the coffee shop, and they bought a cup of coffee. Well, if somebody saw ads, they were targeted, and they started seeing ads, and whether they click through or not, but they actually visit and they come into your fence of your conversion zone, that shows up as a conversion on your dashboard. Now, I'm going to stop here for just a second, and I'm going to show you guys a couple examples of some actual real life campaigns that we have going right now. Let's see if I can get this up and running. So this is a campaign we did for a local restaurant. They just opened in Union Station in downtown. It's called Nevermore. Now, Nevermore is, it's a retail location. Well, we actually did a geofence around downtown. So we kind of, put a fence around all the major convention centers and hotels and restaurants downtown. But we also did a geofence up Mass Ave, thinking if somebody's walking at Mass Ave, they may not even know Nevermore's around. So what we've seen is they've got 19,000 impressions. This campaign's only been live for really about 2 weeks. They had 17 clicks. They've already had 8 people, 8 conversions.
Wow.
So those are 8 people that saw ads and then actually came physically to Nevermore. Here's another example we did. This is Westminster Village. This is a retirement community on the northeast side of town. This campaign was a little different. We did a geofence around Lawrence, about 10-mile radius from their location. We did some audience curation, some other things, but this was to advertise an open house that they were going to have, and they wanted people to come in and see their facility. So over the course of about 12 days, we've served up around 100,000 impressions. This cost them about $1,200, by the way. We're going to get the pricing at the end. We've got 102 clicks, but look at the conversions down here, 30 conversions. So 30 people saw ads and then physically came to Westminster Village. So that just gives you an example of how the geofencing and geo-targeting can work. And I'm gonna have to go back to my slide presentation and try to pick up where I just left off. Start right here. So another example, we did event fencing. I think the Indy 500 is maybe on this call. I know they registered to watch this, so hate to break the bad news, but we actually drew a fence around your start finish line the day of the mini marathon earlier this April. And so anybody that had their phone with them and ran through the start finish line for 4 hours on the morning of the mini marathon, they started seeing ads for another race series that started up later in the year called Run 317. So again, event fencing can be used from several different angles. And again, you have all the dashboards and all the analytics you could hope for to see how the campaign is working for you. This is another example. I'm not disclosing this customer, but this is another client that started a program about 2 months ago. This is a healthcare provider, and this healthcare provider is buying, I want to say it's maybe 150 to 200,000 impressions per month. They're targeting a certain age group with certain predispositions for certain types of things they might need done for their health. And I won't go into any more depth than that. But out of all those impressions, we're also doing some competitive geofencing. So we're fencing some of their competitors. And we're also doing some keyword retargeting, we'll talk about in a second, of some competing doctors and some competing networks. But we've already had 21 conversions. That's just over the last 30 days of people that were targeted, saw ads, and then came actually to the hospital. So again, measuring foot traffic and the ability to have immediate tracking on programmatic is by far one of the best sells of programmatic advertising. The third tactic, and I spend a lot of time on fencing and targeting, geo-targeting, but it's an important tactic that we use almost every time on every campaign. The third one is something we use on every campaign is keyword search. Again, we can't target through Google. That's Google's ad network. But once somebody searches for a term and they land on a website somewhere, and that term is on that website, then it shows up in their search history, and we start targeting them based on their search terms. This is a great way to target people, competitors' terms, like put in your competitors' names, website addresses, put in key phrases. Again, since we are a SEO, we're doing a lot of SEO now. We actually have a lot of tools. We actually generate these lists for you. Our typical list word count is somewhere between 600 and 1,200 search terms that we actually generate on your behalf, let you review those, and then we upload those into the cloud so we can start keyword targeting people as they're searching online. The fourth tactic is site retargeting. This is something that is very, very successful on all of our campaigns. We turn this on every campaign that we can. We've had a couple clients that don't have access to their website analytics. They can't install the pixel we need installed. It requires a small script to be added to your website. It's the same kind of script as your Google Analytics would have. But it's a small script. You add it to the header file of your site. And what happens is somebody comes to your website, whether it's through Google or they just came to their, through a brochure or a QR code or whatever, they come to your site, 97% of the people leave. They just disappear. They never come back. But with site retargeting, what happens is now they've been cookied. And so now as they start traveling around the web, they start seeing ads that come back to visit your website. And this is an industry number. This isn't my number. That 70% of the people that get site retargeted actually do come back and come back to your website. So if you're doing Google ads and you've got an aggressive Google ad campaign, if nothing else, you can do some programmatic just to recapture some of that traffic you've already paid for at least one time. The fifth tactic is probably the most interesting tactic because this uses a lot of data from a lot of different sources. They call it live data. In other words, it's real-time data. And this is data that's always been out there. Credit card companies have been selling your data for centuries. I think Alexander Graham Bell had his information used against him on the second phone call he made. But audience curation is probably the most popular and actually the most fascinating tactic, because with this, we can actually not only see where people live and get their income and all the basic census data, but we can also pull in demographic data and hobbies and interests, things that they're looking to buy, or things that they have recently purchased, or things that they're inclined to look at that we know that they're looking to buy. So we've got over. Let me show you an example of what these ads look like, by the way. So this is what the ads look like. These are programmatic display ads. They come in 5 sizes. We actually create these ads for you as part of your campaign. We don't charge extra for that, but we try to make them interactive. We try to make them flash a little bit. We try to make them engaging so people do want to click on them. This is, looks like I skipped. I think we had a page that got out of sequence here because I think I missed. Hang on a second, you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, this page got skipped, so I'm going to unhide this page. Okay. Let's view this page. I want to go back to demographics because I told you guys that was kind of the money shot and I kind of missed it. So let me retrace my thoughts here a little bit. With demographic profiling and audience curation, there are over 5,000 traits and behaviors and things we can target. I'm giving you a sample of those. Obviously, I can't put all 5,000 in a slide deck, but we can obviously do census data, age, income, home value, how many people live in the home. We can do life changes, recently divorced or married, likely to move in the next 90 days, their new parents, or their recent empty nester. We can do them by profession, blue collar, professor, childcare, teacher, you name it. If they've got a title, we can target them. We can also target them based on their hobbies, boating, running, reading, gambling, whatever. We can also profile them by what language they speak. This has been really helpful for a couple of our clients that are trying to find some workers in a certain genre, and they have a high worker count in a certain population. They're trying to reach those folks. The best way to do it is to have a campaign that's in their language that targets them. This last slide, this one might blow your mind just a little bit. It kind of blows mine, some of the things we can do. We can also profile you based upon how much mortgage you still owe. If you own a dog or a cat, what your political affiliation is. If you're a plus size clothing buyer, if you have children ages 3 to 5, if you have elderly parents living in your house, what size your property is, if you have a Discover card, if you have an asphalt roof, if you volunteer, if you have grandchildren, how many bedrooms you have in your house. And that's just a sampling of the different things we can profile. So that's why I put on that form, give us an idea of what you're looking to do, because there might be some demographic profiling we can pull from our database that could really help you and really make your campaigns really sing. Again, this is our digital ads. This is what they look like. We already kind of went over that. Measurable results. So we create a dashboard. I already showed you a couple examples of our dashboards. That is a dashboard that gets updated every night at midnight. It takes the data from the previous day, it updates, and so you can come to a static link every day or every morning if you want and see how your campaign is doing. Typical click-through rate, so the CTR at the bottom there, a typical click-through rate on a traditional digital campaign is 0.09%. With programmatic, the average in the industry is 0.17. Again, you're targeting people, so you're kind of weeding out people that shouldn't see your ads and trying to get more targeted with who does see your ads. Let's talk about cost. So a programmatic campaign includes, we can do changes to your ads whenever you like. It will be optimized daily. You have the 24/7 real-time online detailed reporting link, which is that dashboard I showed you. We also do monthly calls with folks. We typically record those, or I'll send you an email kind of letting you know, hey, we looked at this, here's what we're doing, and this is looking good, or we need new creative, or something needs to change. So we do all that as part of this. It also includes all the tactics. So you can use any of the 5 tactics or all of them. The average cost for a programmatic display ranges from $10 to $15 per 1,000. So again, this isn't per click like Google, this is per 1,000 impressions. So to give you an idea, and it says activation fee is $0. This is only for our print advertisers that we're going to do this 0 activation fee. If you're not a print advertiser with us and you're not a client of ours, or you're not going to do some print, then there's a $1,000 setup fee to get you started, because we have to cover our overhead costs to get you onboarded. But if you're a print advertiser, we're waiving that fee, and you don't have to pay anything to get started. There's a $500 minimum spend, that's per campaign. If you want to see what the pricing looks like, you can buy 50,000 impressions for $750. 100,000 impressions are $1,200, and 250,000 impressions are $2,500. You'll see the CPM rate goes from $15 to $10 in that range. Anything over 250,000 impressions obviously stays at the $10 CPM, which is the lowest rate that we offer. The nice thing too about programmatic is you don't have, I said, unlike print, programmatic campaigns are not bound to a monthly calendar. So we don't have to do this when the trains leave for our magazine. We can do these with a start and end date of any time you like. Most of our campaigns have lasted, they do a campaign for an open house, or they're trying to hire somebody. Once they get somebody hired, they pause the campaign. We have other people that have ongoing campaigns. We just change the creative as we go. The nice thing too about having a campaign that lasts a little bit longer is the software we're using. It's called Simplify. And if you guys look up Simpla.fi, so Simplify, it's one of the 3 major DSPs out there. That's the network that we buy through. We're licensed through them to buy through the network. And if you look at, if you go through those networks, what you'll find is the minimum spend, the minimum you can buy from these guys is $5,000 a month is the minimum. Some of those networks are up to about $20,000 minimum spend in order to work with them. With us, we don't have any minimum spend. So basically $500 is the minimum, and you can stretch that campaign out over several months if you want to. We've had several people that do 250,000 impressions to kind of get them started. They might do a 2 to 3 month campaign. So we'll spread that 250,000 out over 3 months. And we just take that 2,500, divide it by 3, and just bill them a third each month. The other things we can sell now is streaming TV, OTT, and CTV ads. The price on that is $75 per 1,000. But again, you're only showing your commercial. And we could do 15, 30, or 60-second spots. 15 and 30s are the most preferred, but we can show those only to people who are being targeted. So again, we're not showing it to everybody who's watching the Pacer game. This is like a network buy. These are only being shown to people that have already been targeted. So imagine if you go start seeing digital ads on your phone, you start seeing digital programmatic on your phone or on your apps or wherever you're at, and you get home and you see a commercial for the same thing. That's pretty powerful. And again, there's no minimum spend on that. The pre-roll video ads, this excludes YouTube at the moment. Within a week, we'll have YouTube included in this. But right now, this is only for video ads that are showing across other networks. So you guys have always been to these websites that have videos playing, or you want to watch the news story and they show a pre-roll video. These are those types of video ads, and a $30 CPM rate. We can do pre, mid, or post-roll videos with that. And that is the end of the presentation. Hopefully I piqued some interest. If you scan that QR code, or if you click on the link in the chat, you actually can fill out a form and just kind of give us a little background information what you're looking to do, and we will try our best to get back to you as soon as possible. Hopefully that was enlightening to you guys. I know there's going to be a lot of questions from a lot of people. I've got the chat open over here on the sidebar. I'm going to ask Cam if he will stop the recording at this moment, and we will open up